go into your Facebook communities, like make people sick of your work. So that way at some point they were like, oh, hey, I want to get photo taken with my son, or I want to remember this day with my daughter. This guy posts photos all the time. Let's talk to him, I'm telling you now, that's where I get 90% of my bookings, is just something like that.
Well, hey there. Welcome to the Beginner Photography Podcast. I am your host, Raymond Hatfield, and each week, here's what I do. I interview one of the world's most interesting photographers to learn what does it really take to capture beautiful images, and I share that with you so that you can start to do the same. In today's Rewind episode, we are chatting with community member and moderator Jim Sinicki about facing your failures, seeking feedback, and building connections to grow as a photographer. But first, the Beginner Photography Podcast is brought to you by CloudSpot. With CloudSpot, you can simplify your business with studio management. You can organize clients, send professional contracts, and automate invoice payments and more. Keeping track of everything in your growing photography business just got a whole lot easier. So grab your free forever account today over at deliverphotos.com and only upgrade when you and your business are ready. Raise your hand if you have ever compared yourself to another photographer's work you've seen online. I know I have. Raise your hand if you have ever felt like your gear is not enough. I'm raising my hand. And raise your hand if you have ever felt overwhelmed by all of the photo tech nerd lingo. Yeah, I've been there too. Now raise your hand if, despite all of that, you still love photography. And when you capture a great shot, it all becomes worth it. Yeah, me too. Well, guess what? If you're like me, you're in good company, because today's guest and community member and moderator, Jim Sinicki, has been there too. In today's interview, we talk a lot about his earliest mistakes, the embarrassing things that he Googled when trying to learn photography, and how he overcame the challenges to become not only a great photographer, but a pretty solid dude. All of that despite being a Milwaukee Brewers fan. So brave. All right, all jokes aside, I think honestly that you're going to love this very candid and authentic conversation about photography. And why don't you be like Jim? Join him, myself, and more than 6,000 other photographers just like you looking to learn and grow your skills by joining the Beginner Photography Podcast community. It's free, it's fun, and honestly, it's the safest place on the internet for new photographers. So if you want to join us, head over to beginnerphotopod.com/group. Again, that's beginnerphotopod.com/group and join the party. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get on into today's interview. Jim, you've been a member of the Facebook group for like more than 2 years now, which is awesome. So congratulations. I appreciate you being in the group and being such a contributing member as much as you are. And it's been cool that over the past 2 years, I've been able to see like your progression, not only like in your photography and like the questions that you were asking early on versus the questions that you're asking now, but also like to see you start a business, and like all these things are so cool to be able to see your growth. And now that you've been doing this for a few years, I want to know, like, take me back to those early days, right? This is that first question. Like, I really want to know, what was it about photography for you, like in the beginning, that you thought like, this is awesome and I want to do more of this?
Yeah. So big reveal here. Past guest Martin Moore. I actually started watching his photography, and I didn't know how to use a camera back then, but I started watching his photography, and I thought to myself, he's pretty good at this. I wonder if I can do that. I'm pretty good at figuring some stuff out. So let me see what I can do. So I always actually tried to strive to be like him early on, and I really just kind of found myself over editing things just to try to match his style. Yeah. So I'm sorry, what was the question? I kind of rambled on there.
It was, so you saw Martin's photography and you liked it. You said, I can kind of figure this out. Yeah. But what was it? Because a lot of people see beautiful photos online, but they don't think, oh, maybe I could do that, or I'm going to do that, or take the action to do that. So what was it about his work or photography in general that made you go on and do it?
So I've never seen Milwaukee the way that Marty did. It looked beautiful. It looked colorful. It looked vibrant. It looked like people loved being there. Over the last few years, like Milwaukee has just been kind of drab and just not as fun as it used to be like when I was growing up. So to see it the way that he saw it, I wanted to just almost recreate that for myself.
Gotcha. Okay, so the idea there in the beginning was, let me see. So you were going to have this camera and you want to kind of, was it to recreate what it was that you saw as a kid, or simply put yourself or make yourself a staple in Milwaukee to be that place to what it was like when you were a kid?
To be honest with you, I think it was more out publicly. I think it was more I wanted to just bring back those memories of being a kid. But I think inside it wanted to be me more being a staple in Milwaukee and trying to make a name for myself out there.
What is it about Milwaukee? Like, you grew up there, but like now here is your time
Yeah.
to tell the world, like, this is why Milwaukee's the best. What is it about Milwaukee?
Yeah. All right, so Milwaukee is the little city that could. Everybody thinks that we're like the little brother of Chicago who just can't do anything to get out of its own way. But Milwaukee's got a heart of a lion, honestly. We don't quit. We work hard. We struggle through the winters. We enjoy the summers. We have the best music here. Summerfest is going on in summertime. We have the best beer. So if you ever want to come down to Milwaukee or up to Milwaukee, that's the place to be. Trust me, I could take you around. Great food and just really great people all around. And I think I really wanted to try to celebrate that a little bit more.
So then now you have this mission. You want to capture Milwaukee as if to show off that it is heaven on earth, you could say. So you got the camera. What happened?
Well, after that, my wife and I, we got pregnant. And a little inside baseball for a lot of people here, we tried really hard to get pregnant for quite a few years. And when we found out we were pregnant, I decided I was going to be not the mom photographer as I call it, but I wanted to be the dad-tographer. So when my kid was born, it just quickly turned into, I want to take pictures of my son. I want to take these pictures and remember it all from there. And then as he got a little bit older, I was like, I can do this for other people and I can try to build my business that way. So that's kind of where I am now.
Did you think from the beginning that you wanted to definitely have a business? Like when you first got that camera, or did it evolve into that?
I mean, I think everybody who picks up the camera wants to start a business right away. Like that's the first thing to think of. It's not how can I shoot the camera? How can I learn aperture? How can I learn to focus something better? It's how can I quickly make money off of this? And nobody really thinks of how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think when people first pick up that camera, they think, I wonder how I can, or how to make money with this?
Oh, we live in the Instagram, the YouTube lifestyle right now. So everybody just sees these nobodies who make it big on YouTube, and they think they're making millions of dollars, and they think they can do that for themselves.
Do you think that, like, let me see, what's the question I'm trying to think of here? I guess I'm just trying to get into your head as far as, like, how deep down the rabbit hole did you see yourself going when you first got the camera? Or was it really like, no, like, how much of that developed?
I think like everybody else, I went pretty deep down the rabbit hole at first. I was, just how can I get these amazing shots and how does lighting work? And the best and worst thing that happened to me was I put my photography online for people to see it, because that was a kick in the pants. That was reality coming back to me saying, dude, you kind of suck at this. So
no, hold on. What do you mean? Like, talk me through that. What does that mean?
Well, basically, you think that you take these amazing photos and then, like, you kind of put up against everybody else because you don't know what you're doing. And you see that and you say to yourself, my photos are not nearly as good as this. Like, nobody has come out and said, like, your photos suck. But when you see them lined up to somebody who's been shooting for 5, 10, 15 years versus you who think you're awesome at 3 months in, it's reality. You realize that you don't know as much as you think you do. So take a few steps back.
But if you haven't been shooting for 5 or 10 years, like, how is that an equal measurement for you to compare your work against somebody else's?
It's not. It's definitely not. But you don't know that going in. You just see these amazing photos and you think, that's a great photo. Why can't mine look like that? And It's because you don't know the exposure triangle. You don't know how to edit photos. I still don't know how to edit photos. I've been doing this for a couple of years, like you said, and that's my biggest struggle still.
Yeah. Well, then let's stay back there at the beginning when you first started uploading your photos and you realized there was that gap essentially between your photos and, say, somebody who's been shooting for 5, 10 years. Like, what do you think that was? Where did that come from? Like, what were you struggling with or lacking technically, do you think?
When I first started, it was everything. It was composition. It was the exposure triangle. It was even knowing the terminology. Like when somebody says f-stop, I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, what does that mean? Mine goes to 5.6. Is that good? No. Okay. Well, how do I change that? So it's just a lot of learning. It's knowing that you don't know what you don't know.
So where do you learn?
Right here. Honestly, I tell people all the time. Like I always tell people, I say, if you want to learn, go see Raymond Hatfield and the Beginner Photography podcast, because I swear to you, I learned everything I know in photography because of you and the people in this group.
First of all, that's crazy because you have to like take. This is gonna sound like the worst, like humble brag ever, but like I get emails from people saying like, "Hey, thanks so much. Like the podcast has really helped me learn photography," and my response is always like, "I didn't do anything. Like you're the one who has the camera. Like anybody can listen to it." I'll tell you, I watch like shows on how to build tiny homes and like how to build race cars. I could watch those all day, but I don't do any of those things. It's you who takes the action to go out and do those things. So
no, I'd say 100%. I mean, you can join the group and listen and look at pictures all you want to, but you're not going to learn if you don't ask those questions. And I think, like you said at the beginning here, my questions back then versus where they are now are completely different because, again, I didn't know what I didn't know. So I was asking the same questions that every new person asks when they come in.
Yeah.
And that's how we all learned.
Right. Okay, so you come into the group, you're asking questions. What do you think was one of the biggest moments for you when it comes to learning photography? Like, was there this moment for you where it was just like, oh my gosh, like all of this fits together now. Like this is starting to make sense when, you're trying to grab a picture. Did you get that moment?
Yeah. So I struggled so hard to learn the exposure triangle. I'm not good at math at all. Like not even close to math magician here. So I listened to one of your episodes very early on and you guys were breaking down the exposure triangle. I was like, well, I got nothing else to do. Let's see if we can figure this out. So I listened to the podcast and I probably worked on it for half a day, an entire day, and it finally just clicked. I was like, wait, this goes along with this, which means if I change this one, I got to change this one. If I change these two, I have to change this one as well. And that's how it all started turning.
So, oh my gosh, I love that. Once again, I mean, you listened to it, you took action, and I can tell you that by the statistics, almost 10,000 people a month download like those first few episodes of the podcast on the exposure triangle. But the amount of people, again, who actually like get out and do something is like super small. So I love to not only hear that for one, you did go out and do that, but then you continued to like be in the group and continued to like share your successes with the photos that you were taking. So aside from the questions that you were asking, was there anything else that you were doing in terms of education? Were you like getting books? Was it YouTube? Where did the growth come from for you?
So I tried to read the books on it, but I'm going to tell you right now, boring. I almost fell asleep in all of them. And I know you're the same way as I am. I think you talked about that a couple of times, but
very much so, yes.
Yeah. So then I started picking up YouTube, and of all people, like Jared Polin has some really good stuff. Like if you sign up for his stuff, he's got like shooting a low light and how to go from automatic to manual. And I just kind of picked up bits and pieces from that, and then just also talking to people in like photography podcast groups and all sorts of different Facebook groups and just asking questions and just really trying to hone myself there. And you talked about how I shared my successes. The big thing is I try to share my failures as well, because if I'm failing at something, somebody else is also going to fail at it. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, then the group has been just amazing to jump in and say, well, we've had that problem too, and here's how we fixed it. So when I tried it again, I would go back out and make these little changes and make it a little bit better the next time.
Well, I love that. Let's talk about that more. Did you have one failure that like you really learned a lot from?
My first failure, I did a maternity shoot for a friend, and I thought the photos were pretty good. Some of them I still use them all, but there were a lot of like composition failures, and Kimberly Irish actually kind of walked me through a few of them. And one of them was she explained to me the doctor view of a maternity shoot, and I was like, oh, yeah, I totally get that. Now I know why I want to put the camera right where I put it, because it's not a very good view. Physically, in that shoot, the very first shot that we set up, I backed up into the lake.
No, fell in. Like you walked in. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that sucked.
That is a great way to start off a shoot, right? And then just tell them like, well, now we're going to be real careful about this.
Oh yeah. And if anybody knows the water in Lake Michigan around Milwaukee, around the Summerfest grounds, like, it's not good. There's all sorts of garbage, and we won't even get into it, but I smelled awful for a little while. Jeez. So that was fun.
Did you ever get any referrals from that couple at all?
I did actually. I did. I
Really?
did, and it worked out
Despite
pretty
the
well.
smelly garbage and that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well, I mean, I gave them the best photos that I had. I
Yeah.
didn't give them the garbage. So, and really, that's all that matters. So,
Yeah, of course, of
yeah.
course. That's hilarious. Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking about transitioning into what you got now, which is Charlie James Photo. Can you tell me about Charlie James Photo and like what's the mission that you got? Because I love it.
Yeah. So, Charlie James Photo is actually named after my son, Charlie. Again, main reason I'm still shooting is because I want to take those memories of my son being young and just growing up. The big thing that I've been telling people right now, it's kind of turned into my motto, is turn your moments into memories. And it's kind of from your slogan as well. But I figured it's so good, I use it myself.
Absolutely,
just kind of
yeah.
make some tweaks off that. So in Greendale, I've been kind of talked about a lot as the guy who doesn't just take the photos. He actually like wants to, I want to get to know my clients. I send them all questionnaires and I talk to them. I talk to them before the shoots and just kind of get to know them that way a little bit. And then even after the shoots, I still stay in contact with them, even if they don't want to book with me anymore. Say, you know what? Hey, we shared this moment together. We're connected no matter what now. And it makes for a better session. It makes it more personable.
Tell me more about that. Like, where did you get these ideas to make your sessions more personable?
To be honest with you, I love people. It may sound crazy, but I actually like people. I like just talking to people. I like getting to know people and get inside people's heads. In my professional life, my 9 to 5, I am a fraud investigator. So I deal with some of the worst people that you could probably ever imagine. So getting to know people face to face, just on a personal level, it's great for me. It's a whole big different change. And I love that part of the whole game.
I would imagine that most times at like a session, people aren't specifically trying to lie to you and deceive you like you would in your normal job. Yeah, so it must be like this breath of fresh air. Like, oh, this is fantastic, and I'm getting paid to be here and shoot. This is awesome.
Exactly, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how you plan to, like, where you plan to take Charlie James Photo. Or I guess, do you have a primary focus with Charlie James Photo, or are you shooting a little bit of everything right now? How's that going for you?
So I've been shooting a little bit of everything right now just because of the COVID lockdown. I've been trying to keep my family safe and other people safe as well. We both have people who are high risk in my family, on her side and on my side. My wife's side and my side, I should say. So we've been kind of doing my own thing for a little while, just shooting like a lot of streets. I've been learning a lot of shutter exposures, or I'm sorry, long exposures, I should say. So that's been a lot of fun. I actually met up with a guy who became a really good friend of mine who's a photographer, and he taught me how to do some long exposure, and he taught me like the tricks of it and how to set up for night shots and along the lake. So that's been a lot of fun. But anyways, the main point of Charlie James is family photography. Senior photos has been really big for me lately, something I love to do. Yeah, just kind of celebrating the everyday with Charlie James Photo.
Celebrating the everyday with Charlie. So now, oh my gosh, I love that. Celebrating the everyday with Charlie James Photo. You need a client to like tell you that, so that can be like the testimonial on your website with like a giant canvas or something behind them. Yeah.
I know. And the worst part about this whole COVID thing is like I couldn't get any kind of testimonials lately because like nobody's been wanting to shoot. So I'm using testimonials from like a year and a half ago. So I really need to get that going, but I have some sessions booked up coming up the next month or two, so we should be all right.
Awesome. Talk to me about weddings. Weddings isn't something that you want to do, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, you and Kim and Kara, you guys are tough, man, because I could not handle a wedding on my own. There's no way I could do that. I shot a very small 4-person wedding last year, and I was nervous just for that one. And it was just shooting portraits. I was like, if I screw this up, like they're gonna be pissed at me. So to get like a 6-month plan going on, there is just no way I could do that.
I think you could. I don't think that you're giving yourself enough credit.
Okay,
you know,
let me rephrase that. I don't think I'd want to do that because I don't want to screw up somebody's big day. Like my wife and I, we had a very small wedding because like we're not like the big to-do people. Mm-hmm. So like when other people do it, it's crazy to think like this is what they're spending their money on.
Yeah. Well, I forgot who said it, but so, you know, there's a very popular phrase, I guess, or a sentiment in business that like you are not your ideal client. Right?
Yeah.
So me and my wife, I mean, we had a small wedding as well. It was supposed to be an outdoor wedding, but it rained. So like last minute, it was kind of amazing. Everybody came together and we found My wife's grandma was in the automotive union, so like the union hall was like, you can just have the union hall and like have your wedding here, and
Oh,
we're
nice.
like, okay, yeah, it's raining outside, but yeah, I mean, it was not a wedding that like we didn't even have a wedding photographer. Like we just hired like my friend from California. I paid for his plane ticket to come out, and now like I look at the weddings that like I go to, and I think to myself like I can't believe the people are doing this. Like this is crazy. But I think when we can separate ourselves from the service that we deliver, it becomes a whole lot easier to do that, you know, and to be able to deliver just great stuff. I don't know where I was going with that. I guess that was just
No,
a
I
story about my life. And
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like, you have to separate your personal thoughts from the business. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that in that situation. Like, so there's a really good wedding photography company that did my friend's wedding, and she told me that she paid $15,000 for it, and I'm just like, that would be awesome to do. I would love to charge that much money, but man, that is a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of pressure to nail every single shot.
true, true, yeah. However, there was a study that went out above like for like the top 10% of like CEOs, like the top 10 highest earning CEOs in the country, and it was an anonymous question that was asked. I'm just really bad with remembering all these facts right here, but I think the question was like, "What's the one thing that you're most scared of?" And remember, it's like high level. I mean, multi hundreds of $1 million CEOs, and the number one answer that came back from just about all of them was that people would figure out that they have no idea what they're doing. You know,
Exactly.
and I think that we all kind of can take something away from that when it comes to photography, specifically because we're not these greats in the world, but we do have something to say, and everybody has our own unique voice. And yeah, we can create something for anybody. But this has turned into me talking to you, and I apologize for that. I
That's
do.
what we do. It's cool.
I I just, you know, I feel real like comfortable around you, and like it's fun to talk, and we always have like this banter, and especially about like Dodgers and the Brewers. So I appreciate all that. And again, there I go. But let's go back to photography, because one of the main reasons that you wanted to get into photography obviously was to capture and document Milwaukee, but also once your son was born, to document that process. Can you talk to me about the process of documenting your son's growth as a human? Like, what are your views on that? How do you see taking photos of your son?
Yeah, just documenting that growth is just amazing. So the other day I was going through photos, and I was looking, because you get like your Instagram photos where it says this is your photo from 3 years ago today. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome. You know, like my son was 9 pounds at that
right.
point, and you look at him now, it's just like the way he's grown. Like he's reading now, and it's wild to me. At 3 years old, he's reading. He's got his own imagination, and I'm really happy as a dad that I got to not only witness that myself, but also document that entire thing. The one thing though, if I can put a regret in there, my grandfather, when he was in World War II, he picked up a camera and he documented these amazing photos, and like I still look at them every once in a while, like when I go to my parents' house, just because like it's through his own eyes. But when he died maybe about 10 years ago, we realized we don't see many photos of just him.
Mm.
And I'm like, that's really weird, but it's because he was behind the camera. And now, over his last 3 years, I'm looking at these pictures of my son, and I'm like, that's my son, and that's awesome. It's great to see him. But I'm behind the camera, so I don't get to see very much of me with him in that situation. So that's kind of kind of long-winded there, but yeah.
So what are you going to do about that?
Pass my camera to my wife. Let her document it for a little while. Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, it's hard because like now he wants to learn how to take pictures, and every time I bring up the camera, it's like, Daddy, I want to push the button. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I got my Sony A7 III out, and he's just firing away at the pictures, and he's just happy. I'm like, well, I can't say no to this, you know. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a difficult thing, you know, is to get those photos with everybody together. I've just kind of,
yeah,
obviously it's the same I think for everybody listening, and I've just kind of become okay with like, well, I guess all the photos of me are just going to be like selfies, you know, from my
right.
cell phone, and that's it. So,
The worst angles to be remembered by at your
yeah.
funeral.
But photos at your funeral, right? Like we got to look at the bigger
Exactly.
picture here. So
Yeah,
who knows? Yeah.
I kind of
When it
dark there.
comes to a little bit, yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the present, I guess. So when it comes to those
Yeah.
photos that you're taking of your son and your family and your life, I'm always interested to know, like, what do you do with those photos? Do they just live on your computer, or do you do something else with them?
right now they live on our computer, but we just bought a house the last 6 months or so. So we're always planning a gallery wall and just building that out. We do have a yearbook from his first year where we print out pictures every day from Instagram. And then we also print out pictures that we just remembered from that first year, just for memories.
Can I ask what happened to the second year?
We just didn't print them out. So we still have them. So we're always talking about printing them out. The problem is a lot of times, like when you're trying to print out these bulk photos, 300, 500, whatever, 1,000 of them, it does get a bit expensive. And as parents of a 3-year-old, money is not something that comes very easy for us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, you got 2 kids, so you know exactly how it is. But yeah, no, it's something that's definitely on our plan. Like we always want to print them out. We always want to be able to show our friends and family, and even as he gets older, just show them like this used to be you, and just look back on those. I think right now though, we kind of fell in the trap of, it's on Instagram or it's on our Google Photos. It's going to pop up every year, which is nice, look back at. But I'd rather have something that's more physical to touch.
Do you like the idea of the yearbook more than, because I really like that idea for the gallery wall, or would you do both? What are your plans?
The plan is to do both, honestly. Yeah. So we painted our wall black just to get ready for photos, to make them pop a little bit more and just make it look better. So yeah, it's definitely coming. So once that happens, I'll have to send you a picture, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would love to see that. I had a buddy in high school who painted a wall like chalkboard in his room. And I remember thinking like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, because you can just go in and now everything that's going to be on that wall is going to stand out. And I can imagine that, those pictures are going to look great. That's going to be real cool. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. What inspires you?
Great question. Honestly, just being able to create and make art on its own. I think that's really what inspires me. Years and years and years ago, I used to play in a band and we toured around the country for a little bit, and it was like my creative outlet. But as you get older, obviously, you don't make money playing music in bands, playing at dive bars once every couple weeks. So kind of lost that creativity there. And then once I started picking up the camera again, the creativity came back, and it's a license to just make art on your own.
So let me rephrase the question. Where do you find inspiration? Because I love that answer, but I think I was going for something a little bit deeper. Where do you find that inspiration from?
Where do I find my inspiration? Oh boy. One of the things I've taught myself with a camera is that everything around you can be something made into art. If you're walking downtown or through an alley, like look at it like you would through the lens of a camera and just try to compose it like you normally would. And I think that's going to help you to really create more art that way, I guess is the best way to put that.
So now that you've been shooting for a few years, do you find that you just get better at that over time?
I do. So it's really not good because even when I'm driving, I'll see a scene. I'm like, oh, that would be awesome on my camera, but clearly I'm driving. I can't take out my camera right now, or I don't even have my camera. I'm going to work.
Yeah.
The craziest thing right now is when I go to work, when I go to the office, I go north, and from the freeway, you can see the lake, you can see all the tall buildings. And there's one spot where I'd love to get a shot from, but it's going to be kind of difficult to do that. But you can see the sun coming up over the buildings in Milwaukee and just outlines the entire skyline in just the sun. And it's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the problem is the only way you can get that shot is being on a freeway.
You got to have your wife drive. You got to get ready. You got to be in the passenger seat, camera ready to go, and then grab that shot.
I think so. You know what? I'm going to tell her she's got to take off work to drive me to work every day until we get that one shot.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. But that'll be the one. Yeah. That's going to be your cover photo. That's going to be your profile photo and everything. That's going to be on your business cards. It's going to be everywhere. That's awesome. I love
and then it'll still get 30 likes on Instagram.
Yeah. After you boost it. Yeah. For extra,
exactly. Yeah.
Again, I love seeing your growth in the group because looking at some of your earliest photos to where you are today, I really appreciate you being in the group. You've shared a lot. You've contributed a lot. And before this interview, I went to go look back at your first post within the group. And you posted a photo where you were just looking for some feedback, but you said, this group seems like the best at not being a-holes for the sake of being a-holes.
Yep.
Can you tell me what you meant by that about other groups?
Yeah, I don't want to name drop any other groups, but there are some mean people out there. Like, if your photo isn't good or if there's an issue with your photo, they will rip you apart. And for no reason at all. Like, people just want to be mean on the internet, and it's terrible. So when I found this group, I didn't post anything for like maybe the first week or two. I was like, nah, I've been burned before. I don't want to fall for this again. And I saw everybody, and I forgot who was even there in the very beginning, but everyone was like just so happy about helping each other, and everybody just wanted to build each other up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get the courage, and I'm going to try this again. So then I posted the photo, and I'm pretty sure it was the Porsche that was
red Porsche.
Color,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, color selected, yeah. And it wasn't a good photo, but people were like, yeah, it's not great, but here's what I would do to fix it. And it's like, okay, well, that wasn't so bad.
So being in these other groups, I mean, this is something that always interests me because, I mean, I'm right there with you. I've been in other groups, people are jerks, and there's something about the Beginner Photography podcast community where, like, you're not going to find that. And I'd love to know, why do you think that is?
It's just the culture that's built there. I think it's between you and Kim as a moderator, and just the people who are there who want to help out. Like, you can definitely see it, even like the new people. They just want help, and people want to help, and that's all it is. Like, I think we've done a pretty good job at kicking people out who aren't there for that. And by good job, I mean, like, there's been one or two people in the few years I've been there. It's just building that culture of honesty and trust that I think helps out a lot.
Mm-hmm. How do you think that helps you as a photographer? If you didn't find the group and all that you had to go through was endless groups of a-holes, where do you think your photography would be today?
I would have quit.
Really?
I would have quit long ago. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, because you got to have confidence to be a photographer. Like, no matter what you're doing, like, you're putting something out there for everybody to look at and for everybody to say, hey, that's pretty good or that's not good. So you got to have confidence, and you have to have thick skin. I think if I posted photos nonstop and it was just nonstop beatdowns, I would have definitely quit. I've quit at many things in my life, and I'm glad this is one of those things I did not.
Oh my gosh. I get it. In the beginning, that's a hard thing. Is like, it feels vulnerable to put your own photos, your own work, your own art essentially out into the world, and to get tough criticism is a very difficult thing. But, once again, I don't think that you're giving yourself enough credit. I think that you would have figured out a way to make it work and to continue, especially, with the birth of your son and wanting to keep taking photos that way. So come on, let's be honest. Yeah. Would you have continued shooting?
Not the way I am now. I would have.
Okay.
I would have put my camera on the shelf, let it collect dust. I would just grab the cell phone and just take pictures of my son.
Right. Every birthday and holiday and yeah.
Oh, and don't get me wrong. Like, when I say that, I have probably about 30,000 photos of my son on my phone, just from that cell phone, just because it's there, it's easy. And when you're trying to capture your moments, like we always say, the best camera that you own is the one that you have. Mm-hmm. So especially if the photos are just for you and your family, like, who cares what they look like? They're for you. Make them good.
Make them good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now that you have this experience, right, and you broke through that barrier of a-holes and you gained that confidence and you are where you are today, is there anything that you wish that you would have known or learned sooner?
Histogram.
The histogram.
I wish I would have learned how to use the histogram much sooner. So when I moved to the A7 III from the Canon T6, it was because I wanted to be able to see that live histogram, because I know that you can't just rely on your light meter to give you the correct exposure. Your exposure is telling you, your exposure is being told by the histogram. Mm-hmm. And it's something I kind of learned maybe a few months ago. I'm still learning it, but had I not been so afraid to learn it, like, I think I probably would have, I would have been a little bit better off much sooner.
How has it helped you in your shooting? Like, are you using it when you're shooting portraits, or is it out when you're doing more landscape stuff?
Kind of both. So I used to always just make sure that I had the light meter was directly at 0. And now I'm kind of learning, like, hey, this side of the histogram is your shadows. This side is your highlights. And in the middle, it's your midtones. And you want to make sure that you've got those right where you want them to be. And that's going to be your exposure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then let me ask, with the A7 III, is that right? A7 III? With the A7 III, you have it's an electronic viewfinder. You see the exposure of the image through the viewfinder, and then is there an overlay that you see of the histogram laid on top of that?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you can you can overlay essentially anything that you want to through the viewfinder, which is great. Which is one of the main reasons I wanted to go to a mirrorless with the EVF. So yeah, you can look right down the viewfinder and just see anything you want to. The histogram overlay is great. It just kind of helps you out that way.
Tell me about that transition that you made from the T6 to the A7 III, because I mean that's a massive jump. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was like driving a cardboard box to work and then hopping on a space shuttle with no training. I'm telling you, man, that the menu alone, it's insane. Like the T6 had like 3 options essentially. You're like, oh, I can figure this out. You throw on the menu for the A7 III, and it's like, you're speaking French and I only speak Spanish, and there's no way. So,
but overall, how's the experience been as far as the growth of your photography? Is there as much of a noticeable change in your work as you were hoping for?
Yeah. So the last, I don't know, year or so, I've been shooting more low light, and it's been a huge change for me. So I got like the nifty 50 with the A7 III, and what it does in low light, just for like a crappy lens, it's insane. Like you could take nice and clear photos. It's got in-body stabilization, so I can lower speed down like I want to say like 1/20th or like 1/100th, and it's still clear. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So for anybody who's like thinking about upgrading from crop sensor to a full frame, is there anything that you think that like maybe they should look out for? Was there any downsides to upgrading for you?
For me, no, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I researched my purchases well before for several months, and I was like, this is exactly what I need. This is what I need to do. I guess the biggest thing I would say is know what you're looking for. Like, don't just make the jump because you feel like it's going to make you better. Know what you want. I knew I wanted the EVF. I knew I wanted a live view with the histogram. I knew that I wanted better low light shooting. So I knew exactly what I wanted. If you're just saying, like, oh, I want to shoot full frame, why? Learn your stuff first and then make that jump when the time is ready.
Mm-hmm. You were on the T6 for a while, right? You had that camera for quite a while. How long?
I had it for 3-4 years, I want to say.
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, I remember looking at some of your photos and thinking to myself, it's time for Jim to upgrade. Like, he's had this camera for quite a while, and I'm glad that you did make an upgrade to a camera that you're happy with, and seeing those, those photos that you're putting out, especially, those ones of the, what's it called? Lighthouse with the waves breaking and stuff. Absolutely beautiful. With a job, with a wife, with a kid, how do you make time for photography?
Dude, I get up so early in the morning. So most of my work comes at 4 a.m. I work from 4 a.m. until I get my kid up to go to his grandparents' house, which is about 6 o'clock or so in the morning. And then once my wife goes to bed around 8 o'clock, I'm usually up until 10 o'clock, 10:30, just plugging away, doing whatever I can. I think if you're really passionate about something, you have to make time. No matter what you do, you absolutely have to make time, or else you're going to lose that passion.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So in those hours from like 4 to 6 and from 8 to 10 or so, is that the time where you're out shooting, or is that where you're doing things to like build your business?
A little bit of both. So the weekends, I might get up early for a sunrise session, about 4:30, 5 o'clock or so, and go out towards the beach or go downtown or just kind of shoot whatever I can there. Because, as you know, morning is really some of the best light, morning and evening. I don't get to shoot very much evening right now because my kid is still awake and we're eating dinner. And obviously, he comes first no matter what happens. And then, when things kind of settle down, I can do my own thing. But yeah, weekends, man, I love going out and just shooting on the beach, getting that sunrise. We have a really cool setup here in Milwaukee where we can go down to the beach, get sunrise shots over the city. We can get it right over the lake coming up. Probably some of my favorite moments that I take time for myself.
I love that. Such a good feeling. Tell me what the future holds for you in photography. Where do you see yourself in photography 5 years from now?
Honestly, as far as it'll take me, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that I can make this a full-time gig. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you got to pay bills. You got to make sure that the kid is okay. You got to make sure the food's on the table. If I can do that with photography, I'm 150% in. Let's do it. I think that's kind of what I'm working towards. There's no timetable for that. If it happens tomorrow, great. If it happens 5 years from now, that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man, just again, seeing your progress, you keep plugging away at it every single day. And I think what's cool to see about you is that like where a lot of other photographers are posting, like, hey, let's book a session or something like that. You are posting things where it's like, it's photos in your community. You're trying to
Yep.
build that community interaction. You're trying to make yourself known in the community so that when the time comes for that ask, it's going to be a whole lot easier. You're going to have that know, like, and trust factor,
Yeah.
that we talk about so much.
Yeah, I believe that was Ray Williams was her last name, maybe?
Ray Whitney.
Wow,
Yep.
Ray Whitney, yeah.
So close, yeah.
Okay, if anybody wants to get into the business of photography, listen to that podcast. She is amazing. Like, I had no clue what I was getting into in that podcast. I listened to it 100 times over. That's such a great episode.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Did you have a major takeaway from that one?
Basically, it's make yourself vulnerable. So when she talked about putting your pillars out for everybody to see, like, that hit huge, because I work in the corporate office and everybody says, we got these pillars we got to live up to. We got this standard. And I'm like, this is just corporate jargon. And when I heard her say it, and when I heard her story, it's like, wait a minute. People resonate with who you are. Like, she's a lady of God. That's great. Like, I may not be that person, but somebody else is. And they're gonna connect with her on that. I think that's awesome. Like, she put herself out there. And again, you have to do that in this business.
Yeah, it's such a personal business. It's that, honestly, I mean, that's one of the hardest things for me to do, like, still to this day, is I just don't feel like a very public person. I hate spending time on my phone. I really don't like spending time on social media. If I'm on Facebook, like, I'm in the group because, like, that's the place where I want to be. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Like, if you can do that, if you can be open, if you can be vulnerable, you're going to make it in this person-based industry that we're in. That's so awesome.
Absolutely.
So, I got one last question for you here before I let you go.
Yeah.
And that is simply, what advice do you have anybody, if there's a new Jim who's joining the group today and this is their first thing that they're listening to, what's just one piece of advice that you would want to give to any new photographer just getting started in their journey?
Any new photographer, the first thing I'm going to tell you is listen, you're going to be terrible first, but don't quit. I'm telling you right now, just keep it moving, keep learning, make your mistakes, fail 100 times if you have to. Do not quit, because at the end of it, it's so much better than you could ever imagine. I never thought I'd be out shooting with clients, and when I get done with a session, it's the best session I've ever had.
Every time, right? Isn't that such a crazy feeling?
Every single time. So one of the things that always sticks with me is you're always like, oh, today they're going to find out I'm a fraud. And I get that same feeling every single time I go out there. But an hour later when the session's done, I'm like, we're best friends now. Like, we're going to do this again. This is a great time. Let's go get a drink, It's just fun.
And that, you know what? That's going to happen to you forever. I promise. It is.
I hope so.
I think it's just a personality type thing. I'm not sure why that is, because I've chatted with other photographers and they're like, I've just been doing this for so long, like, this is how it works, and it's fine. And then other photographers are like, I've been doing it twice as long as that other person and I still feel butterflies every time before a session. Yeah. So I totally get that. Hopefully we'll figure out one day how to get over that hurdle, because I really think that is something that holds a lot of photographers back, is that fear of going out and having to make friends and hope that somebody likes you and then be able to create something for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy because, like, when we think about putting ourselves out there, like, what's the first thing that people always do? It's they want to get into a photography community and show off their work to other photographers. And I learned pretty quickly, like, why? They're not paying anything. Like, they're not paying our bills. They're not booking us. Go into your Facebook communities. Like, go to Chicago mom groups or Milwaukee father-son groups and post your stuff there. Like, make people sick of your work, so that way at some point they're like, oh, hey, I want to get photo take with my son, or I want to remember this day with my daughter. This guy posts photos all the time. Let's talk to him. I'm telling you now, that's where I get 90% of my bookings. Is just something like that. It's free, it costs you nothing, and it's great. I love doing that.
But people don't want to put in the work. Like, that's the thing,
Yeah.
You put in the work, you're gonna win. You're gonna win.
Again, it's that YouTube generation. They see a 30-second clip on YouTube and like, well, this guy can do it, I can do it.
Right.
They don't want to do the work. They don't know what happens beyond that. So
yeah, it's tough stuff, man. It's tough stuff. But again, I'm glad that you're sticking with. Oh, I didn't even ask you where people can find you online, Jim. If people are listening right now and they want to learn more about you, where can they find you online?
You can find me at charliejamesphoto.com. That's my official website.
All right, it is action item time. This week's photography action item, meaning the one thing that if you implement it into your photography, you will move the needle forward in your journey as a photographer, is this. Identify and share a recent failure. Yeah, this may be one of the most difficult action items that I've shared, which means, well, that it's probably going to be one of the most impactful to your journey as well. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through your Lightroom catalog and find a recent photo of yours that maybe didn't live up to what you intended it to be. Then just take a moment or two to jot down your thoughts on why you don't think it worked and what it was exactly that you wanted. And then share that photo and the lesson that you learned in the Beginner Photography Podcast community, which again, you can join by heading over to beginnerphotopod.com/group. That's beginnerphotopod.com/group. Don't worry, it is the safest place on the internet for new photographers like yourself just trying to learn and grow. Nobody's going to come at you with a flamethrower or nothing like that. But I think that when you share your photo, I think that you're going to be surprised at how many other photographers have experienced a similar situation. And for those who haven't experienced that situation, well, suddenly you become the guide for them to navigate their situation if they face it in the future. Let's make sharing your failures with others a normal thing, because not only does it document how you've grown as a photographer, but it also helps those who will come after you. There you go. Okay, that is it for this week. Until next week, remember, the more that you shoot today, the better of a photographer you will be tomorrow. Talk soon. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Beginner Photography Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. Start a conversation. Grow together. That is it for this week. Remember, the more that you shoot today, the better of a photographer you will be tomorrow. Talk soon.
Thank you for listening to the Beginner Photography Podcast. Keep shooting, and we'll see you next week.